Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. So this video is part 2 of a video series about the building of my new studio shed. So it's now a few weeks later and there's been more progress with the shed. As you can see, it has progressed quite well. So I haven't fully completed it, but this is a good stage to show you the construction method, but also what it will look like when it's finally finished. So this is the face. There's a little bit of work needs to be done on this. We still need to put edging around the roof, and the corners need to have some metal edging on as well. Also, all these bolts that I've put in here, they need to be covered with green caps so that they blend in. And basically this is the material that's going to be cladding the entire roof and the walls of the shed. This is hard wearing, plastic coated 0.7mm corrugated block profile roofing. I think this has a rating of about 25 years, or at least a guarantee of 25 years, but its expected lifespan is 40, so this should pretty much last the lifetime of the shed. And then what I've done before I put that on is I've actually clad the whole thing in 12mm plywood. So you can see the plywood just at the end here. And before putting on the plywood, I did put on the green acoustic strips to give it a bit of sound insulation. I've then stapled on the outside waterproof membrane to make sure it's got a little bit of extra waterproofing, but also to make it a bit more wind tight. You can see here I have taped it up, but we had some storms and some heavy rains, so it's actually unstuck in places, so I need to tape that up again. But I'll show you inside now and just give you an indication of what it'll look like when it's finished. So at the moment I've only temporarily put the flooring down. It's not screwed in yet, but this is just to give me a little bit of space to work from. So what I've done is underneath, I wasn't able to show this in the beginning of the video, I think because I had tarpaulin on it, but I've got spacings of 400mm or 40cm between each joint, so it should be quite a stable platform. And then I've put underneath waterproof membrane to stop any dampness coming up, any weeds that try to grow, and to keep the insulation in place. The block wall insulation is in just under half of it. That's being held by that. The PIR board insulation here is a bit thinner, so I'm not putting that in the whole thickness. That's actually held in place with battens. And then with the rock wall in the existing space, because I don't have enough PIR insulation, it will be filling the entirety of the void. So the entirety of the void will be about the same insulation value if it's completely filled with rock wool as 50mm of the PIR insulation. So that should help with sound, also with temperature as well. Not really much with making it airtight, but it should be quite airtight with the membrane and also with the flooring going on down on it. Flooring wise, I'm just using this here. This is 22mm flooring, so it is rated for 600mm widths on the joists, but I'm doing it on 400mm widths, so it's going to be a really stable base. That's so I can do time-lapse or filming in here and I can walk around and the whole camera doesn't shake, so it will be a nice solid floor. There's also, I can't really show you, but down the middle the joists have got some stilts they're sitting on, so it's not just the edges they're supported, it's the middle as well, so it's a really solid floor. And then the inside of the shed, you can kind of see now all the green tape, some black tape because I ran out of the green tape, just a slightly different company. Here, insulating it acoustically from the outside, and then we've also got the noggins that I've put in since the previous update, just to make sure it's really solid and braced. So the whole thing's quite strong now. The roof was done in a similar manner with plywood, but the plywood on here, I think it was 16mm, so it's a bit thicker because it needs to be a bit stronger on the ceiling, so I can walk on the roof and not damage it when I'm doing any repairs. So that's basically the general structure of the studio shed. What I'm going to do now is finish doing the flooring, finish cladding it and doing all the edging trims, and then it'll probably be going on to the interior work. So I think for this video it's probably going to end here. I'll then do a part 2 video where I'm actually making the interior like a studio. So the idea is I'll come in the front door here and up to that second joist up there. So it's about 1m20, something like that. This will be a small room, so I'll have lots of storage here, basically this side of the door, and then the other side of the door will be the same. So coming round, I'll come in with a doorway, and on the left and the right, both sides, there's just a small room for storage, and then there'll be a wall coming across like this with a door. And then once I come inside, I'll probably have a studio. I'll have the studio desk for repotting and filming, and then I'll also need to think about the ceiling, putting electrics in, and also studio lights and getting the whole thing acoustically soundproofed. So this is basically the shell I've done in this part of the video. Next part of the video will be more about the studio section and the soundproofing. So the idea for that is in between these joists I'm going to put acoustic rock wool. So the acoustic rock wool will be filling the space here in the void, and then on top of that I'm going to be putting acoustic plasterboard probably with another strip as well of acoustic foam just to stop any sound transmission. That should really make it nice and soundproof. At the moment it's already quite soundproof. If I close the door, the only noises getting through at the moment tend to be high-pitched bird call. There's not much other noises, but you'll also see it's actually really dark because it's quite well sealed at the moment. I'll also need to work a bit more on the ceiling. You can see some of the floor down there. That will be sealed so no air can come through there. But as you can see, the rest of it, probably can't see at all on the camera. There's basically no gaps where any air is coming in. And when I close it, I can't hear any traffic noise or anything. It's just a high-pitched bird calls that coming through. So hopefully once I put in the Rockwool insulation, that will get rid of some of the higher pitched noises and make it fully soundproof. The good size shed, hopefully give me plenty of space for storing my gardening tools, and then also for filming, so I can make much better YouTube videos. So that's about it for this video. I'll see you guys in a few months' time whenever I get the budget to finish the shed. Basically at the moment with the timber prices, I just have the budget to make the frame and waterproof it, and I'll just use it for storing things like a normal shed. And then later in the year, when I've saved up some more money, I'll kit it out with full soundproofing, plasterboard the whole lot, and make it into a proper studio shed with lighting and electricity supply, so that I can actually do filming in here. So I'll see you guys in a few months. Just depends how long it takes for me to save up, but hopefully before Christmas, but otherwise it might be next year.